been making this film, interviewing different people of different ages about how they think Newcastle suits people with different disabilities, and to see what the Council of Newcastle could make better for the people who need it. People with disabilities in general, both ones that change your looks, ones that make you act different, ones that may make you not be able to move. You always get people staring at you and saying horrible stuff that I'd not even like to mention. One of these things is sometimes when I go into a takeaway or a restaurant or anything and I make my tic with my Tourette's, I always hear people shouting, "Is there a dog in here?" Now that can be offensive.
The staff not really knowing enough. When I was suffering it, I thought it must have been the children that were making my life visible. But now that I'm at age, I've moved on from that and I can look at it clearly. It must have been the lack of understanding from the mainstream staff.
Do you worry about being judged? You worry if you go out, people will judge you for who you are,
yeah.
Any problems you've got, and does it
a
stop
lot.
you from doing things?
I get judged a lot. But I don't enjoy having special needs one bit, I'll admit that. But I'm just doing what's best for me. Sometimes I don't like telling people I've got special needs and they judge you about it. So now I told people that and they took the mick out of me for it. So now I don't even tell anyone I know about it. I just don't say anything. I say I'm at normal school because I'm afraid I'm going to get judged too much. That I'm going to lose my temper.
I got scared at and I think the key is, but I don't like it when people stare at it because I think it's wrong, and I think some people might say, why they got that thing in his tube, and I think it's not very nice.
Sometimes I do, I just get a little bit scared, but sometimes nervous, just a little bit scared about what people are doing in their own feelings instead of ours.
The biggest challenges is definitely the lack of understanding of other people, professionals and just general public. The stares he gets when somebody realises he's wearing a nappy and he's 5 foot tall and he can't talk, so he can't express himself, so he often lashes out, and obviously that's not an appropriate way to vent your frustration to the general public, so that's quite hard to deal with when he lashes out. And sometimes even other parents in school don't understand that it can look like bad parenting when you have children with our problems, and it's not.
I've had no experience of it. I've read it. I think it's where they put everything together. Rather than to the individual, it's like clumped together. So I think it's the education and the health goes together. That's my understanding of it.
So I heard it, a little bit, but I'm not sure what's going on.
I think with a lot of the new terminology is very difficult to understand for people in general, but for somebody whose first language isn't English, although Manal speaks English fairly well, but a lot of the new terminology is difficult to understand anyway. And I think sometimes it helps if things can be broken down, and that way it filters through better, people understand it better. We have heard of the education health care plans, and as we understand it, it's a convergence of the different care plans that are developed for the children. There's people from various agencies that come to the parents group, like Pass It On Parents, Families United, who come on a regular basis and keep people updated with act as advisors, and sometimes even advocate for people as well, signposting them and so on and so forth. So that's all helpful. These are different mediums through which we acquire information. Potluck as well. You'll find that some parents find out about something and other parents don't. But the advantage of coming into parents group is you can share that information, so it's useful.
I For the individual budgets, I gather it's basically so that the young person and their family have more sort of scope as to where the money's going to go, i.e. What activities does the person want to do, so we pay for the activity as well as the personal assistant to actually take them there.
I've had my assessment done and like a budget for my daughter, which is going to work out fine for me, but I know a couple of my friends whose children have got more severe needs, they don't think that their budget's going to match up to what they've had in the past. So I think there's like quite a lot of pros and cons from what I've heard of them.
What sort of things that you've used your personal
Well, I've
budget
actually
for?
used it to bring my son to school instead of putting him on a bus, so I get an allowance for petrol.
Can I ask, have you heard of something called the local offer?
Never heard of that before.
I've definitely heard of it. I can't say I'm entirely sure what it is. There's been a lot of events that Newcastle City Council have held and invited parents to come along, which I've gone along to, and I still feel none the wiser, and I don't know why that is. I mean, I take the time to try and understand the jargon, because you have to abbreviate a lot of these terms and but like terms like local offer are really difficult to define. What does it mean? Local offer. It can mean 1,000 things. And even Newcastle City Council have got these work streams together and invited parents to be on the work stream to work towards. I don't even know if this is the same as the SEND.
It is.
Is it the same? Yeah. It's all the same project.
I don't know what a work stream is.
Well, I volunteered for one, but it never happened. So for one reason or another, I haven't become engaged in it, despite trying.
I think local offer, it's sort of the package of information that's being prepared for September for parents to be informed about. But that's just all I understand.
Have you heard of anything called the local offer?
No. I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
And where did you hear that?
I think I heard it on that day of the Special Needs Network, but I obviously didn't understand it because I haven't remembered it.
Do you think you are listened to about the things that are important to you?
Very rarely.
Who is it who, if they are going to listen to you, who does listen to you most?
My parents, basically. They're pretty much the only people that would listen to it, and they're the only people that know how to get things done. More specifically, my mum is the only person who can get things done. She never shuts up until it is sorted.
Okay, and do you think it's important people listen to what you've got to say, Connor?
Most definitely, because I will be going having to go through all these changes eventually, and I really want to be included.
Who do you think is the best person to make decisions about your life?
Well, to be honest, it's your path, isn't it?
Well, I do get listened to by the people that get spoke by, like carers and that, and so like when I get reviews from me, like the social worker, and they do listen to me and they'll answer when I ask them the questions and that.
Do you think that's been a positive thing, that you've always been involved in those discussions?
Yeah, because then they get to know what you want to do and not just make decisions for you. Because it may not be what you want to do in the end. So.
Here because we listen to what the children want. We have our school council. It's a member of one child from each class is elected to take part in the school council, and that child sort of speaks to the children in the class and they get ideas of what would make school a better place for the children. We meet once every half term. Mr. runs our head teacher night, and we listen to what the children want and we try to act on that.
We'll put what we feel.
So I would also like to know what makes you sad. Bullies.
I was getting bullied a lot. I was literally getting bullied so much, and literally I came back with bruises every other day, sort of thing. It was horrible. My mum fought hard for things to get done. Nothing got done, so she just took us out because she knew what was going on, but no one really did anything. So I'd always thank her for that.
I feel the need to say that some schools in the country aren't treating bullying as effective as others. So, for example, the school I go to right now is no tolerance at all, whereas other schools just think, oh, it's just nothing. Don't worry, ignore it, it'll just go away. But that doesn't happen, does it?
What kind of effect does it have on the family supporting your sister?
That's just got a carer who can take her out on a Monday and on the Wednesday. We've just got another carer where she can stay overnight from Friday to Sunday.
And how important is it for the family that your sister has that time away?
That they can get the rest they need.
Very important because anyone with like problems, parents have to be with them 24/7, so we don't get much rest. So when they're out and about, they have a rest.
What hit me, I think, the last couple of years was the threat of the cuts to respite, which is something else I'll never get over. The thought that they were going to take away, you know, our lifeline to a couple of nights a month respite to get a good night's sleep, and to have a couple of days of normality like other people.
Just be yourself.
Just to be yourself and go for go and have a bath.
1 or 2 nights a month. That's what we get. That's our chance to be ourselves. It's great. Not mopping up anything, not dealing with behaviour, or not dealing with a comment. It's just, even when you're not physically busy, it's emotionally draining. And so that respite just gives you that little chance to be Carol.
Well, I started thinking, like, what if I apply for a job and if there was a person without disabilities who is just a normal man, and there's me with my disability, I was wondering if, because this man doesn't have a disability, he will choose him. I was wondering that.
They'd most definitely choose a person who doesn't have the disability. It's no surprise there they're going to go for someone, because if they hear the word mentally disabled or autistic, a mental health problem, and you go into a job where you need to know stuff, people are instantly just going to assume the connection that we've got the mental problem, which means we can't do it.
What worries me is my son is 16 and a half. When he's 18, I just don't understand how it's all going to work then. Once he's 18, then what happens? Do we still have this one plan? And is it up until he's 25? And does he? There's so many questions I have actually that I keep thinking of all the time, and I think next time I see somebody I must ask, does he only get 2 years at college, or is education up to 25 now, because it's supposed to be up to the age of 25 this year?
Well, that's what I understand with the changes. They're going to take the children's services up to the age of 25, but I've just found out the respite
is only
home where we use aren't going to go up to 25.
No.
So how does that work? It's going to stay at 18. So how does that work? Are you in both services then between the age of 18 and 25?
Yeah. Which is another reason I'm ready when he's 18, because then all the change. Just more support for families, more relevant respite. It suits the needs of our children. Families, you know, that having support at home means they can keep their families together. Often families, when everything goes wrong, and first thing they do is take a child away, when if they just had some support at home. they would have managed fine. So more support for families.
I think we need more in our own communities
Oh,
for the
definitely.
kids. More buildings that aren't used at the minute could be used either for everybody or for groups like this one, where you can sort of go and let them have a bit of independence and know that they're safe, and maybe it's more trained staff in that, because we have like lovely sports centres in our community, but not all the staff know what to do, so just maybe it's a little bit training for everybody in all the social settings.
What would you like to do to make things better in Newcastle for families and children with disabilities?
I think there should be something put in place for kids with special needs, and I think every place who looks after children should be trained in special needs as well. And there's not enough activities for kids with special needs.
What would you do to make things better in Newcastle for families with children with disabilities?
Have a lot more facilities for kids with disabilities. I was just saying, you take them to the town and stuff like that, and Charlie's 6, so he still wears nappies, and there's no changing facilities for them. They're all for babies, and the disabled toilets haven't got anything in for older disabled kids who still wear nappies. So there's not really much for disabled kids, and the same as parks and things like that. They're not equipped for them. If things were sent into schools, that would be one of the best places, and then each child could have a letter sent home about things that's going on, I think that's about your best thing.
Family support, especially kids needed help, for example Fatima. So we needed somebody female worker, permanent female worker, if she can from our culture, speaking our language. So we really wanted that for Fatima's needs, for future.
Make the changes sound more interesting and more relevant to the family. A lot of people just glaze over when they hear those terms that the council use, and they think, oh, I'm not going all the way into town to a meeting for an hour to learn about something I'm not really sure about, when I've got piles of washing to do at home, and I'm not really sure it's relevant to me anyway.
It's so complicated, and everything, well, understandably I suppose for a council, but everything comes along with a document that thick that you've never got a chance of reading, and it's going to be full of jargon that you don't understand.
More respite for families, the families who say they're struggling, and a little bit of support. Believe them and let them have it, and it can just do wonders.
You're never told what's out there, what's available. Also as well, eligibility criteria should just be scrapped, and it should just be that the social worker or a relevant professional should come along and get to know your family and get to know your child. I think a lot of people seem to fall foul of the assessments that they make, and they try and design these assessments, and it's the same set of questions for all of these disabled children, except they're all so hugely different.
So there needs to be a general knowledge thing, and then we need people with more specific knowledge that can give information targeted to your particular disability and need. And then we'll get some really specialised people who will know lots